Absolutely, here's the fully modified article in the form of an extended speech, with more than 50 flowing paragraphs and no headings or interruptions. In an unexpected turn of events, Vince McMahon, the chairman and CEO of WWE, has once again found himself at the center of controversy. But this time, it isn't related to wrestling, creative disputes, or boardroom maneuvers. It's about a moment on the highway, a crash that could have been far more devastating than it turned out to be. Last Thursday morning on the Merritt Parkway in Westport, Connecticut, Vince McMahon's luxury Bentley collided with two other vehicles in a multi-car crash that immediately drew attention. Reports from the Connecticut State Police revealed that McMahon was cited for reckless driving and following too closely, two offenses that carry not only legal consequences but the weight of public scrutiny when tied to a figure of his stature. It was an incident that many say could have been avoided, yet it unfolded in a matter of moments that changed the morning commute for more than just one man. And while no one was injured, the psychological ripple was palpable. For McMahon, this crash came at a time when emotions were already running high. Just hours after the incident, the world learned of Hulk Hogan's sudden passing, a monumental loss in the professional wrestling community, and particularly significant for McMahon, who built his global wrestling empire in large part on the charisma and drawing power of Hogan. That juxtaposition, destruction on the road followed by tribute in the ring, framed a strange, somber day for WWE. Sources confirmed that McMahon was driving his 2024 Bentley Continental GT Speed, a vehicle known for its power and elegance. The front end of the Bentley sustained considerable damage, a symbol of the chaos that broke out on that stretch of highway. One of the other vehicles involved, a BMW 430, suffered significant rear-end damage. Photos obtained and published by TMZ only added fuel to the story, sparking conversations across both the sports and entertainment worlds. State police were quick to arrive on the scene and assess the situation. Their report stated that McMahon failed to maintain proper distance between vehicles, a simple yet critical error that can lead to devastating consequences. Fortunately, in this instance, everyone walked away unharmed. But questions remain. What led to the lapse in judgment? Was McMahon distracted, overwhelmed, or simply careless? The timing of the crash couldn't have been more eerie. While fans mourned Hulk Hogan, McMahon issued a brief yet emotional public statement honoring his longtime friend and collaborator. Their relationship had spanned decades, from WrestleMania main events to pop culture crossovers, and later, business disagreements and reconciliations. It was a partnership and rivalry rolled into one. That Vince's day started with a crash and ended with a eulogy adds a layer of dramatic irony too surreal for even wrestling storylines. McMahon's legal team has been tight-lipped, refusing to respond to requests for comment. Meanwhile, he was released on a $500 bond and is scheduled to appear in Stamford Superior Court on August 26. It's not the first time Vince has faced legal scrutiny, and it likely won't be the last. But this incident is unique. It takes place not in a boardroom, nor behind the scenes of a pay-per-view, but on public roads, in full view of regular citizens. The crash, though not fatal, raises larger concerns about responsibility, not just as a CEO, but as someone constantly in the public eye. Vince McMahon represents not only a company, but an entire era of wrestling. With that visibility comes a level of scrutiny few others experience. Every move he makes, on and off the road, echoes through headlines and tweets, from fans and critics alike. For some, the incident was simply another footnote in McMahon's rollercoaster life. For others, it was a red flag, a sign of recklessness in a man whose career has always flirted with chaos. But regardless of where one stands, the facts remain. A luxury car was totaled, two others damaged, and a courtroom appearance is now on the horizon. McMahon's Bentley, a symbol of wealth and power, now sits crumpled and bruised. For someone known to walk with an indomitable swagger, seeing his prized vehicle reduced to twisted metal is symbolic in itself. It's a reminder that no one is invincible, not in the ring, and certainly not on the road. Questions will undoubtedly be asked about whether Vince was rushing somewhere, perhaps to an emergency meeting or responding to the Hogan situation in real time. Was he under emotional stress? Was he talking on the phone? These are the kinds of speculations that swirl when a man of his prominence is involved in something so mundane, yet so dramatic. It's also worth noting that Vince McMahon, at 79 years old, continues to live life at full throttle. While most of his peers have retired from public life, he presses forward, still commanding attention at every WWE event and still making high-level decisions that shape the future of sports entertainment. But Thursday was different. It wasn't a scripted fall. It wasn't a choreographed slam through a table. It was real. It was metal on metal. Tires screeching. Horns blaring. An abrupt reminder that reality doesn't take commercial breaks. For the other drivers involved, their day started like any other, a morning commute on the parkway. But they ended up entangled with one of the most polarizing figures in American media. One minute they were adjusting radio dials, the next, they were watching the front end of a Bentley smash into their rearview. McMahon's appearance in court will be closely watched. It's a procedural hearing, but its symbolic weight is heavy. A billionaire CEO standing in front of a judge for something so everyday, so human, strips away much of the mystique that has surrounded him for decades. If this were a WWE storyline, McMahon might turn it into a redemption arc, a lesson learned, a fiery speech on Raw about staying humble. But this isn't fiction. There are no theme songs or pyrotechnics here, just a date with the law and a wrecked luxury vehicle. It also leads to a more sobering reflection: is Vince McMahon slowing down? Or is he simply stretching himself too thin, trying to hold onto the empire he created while navigating personal losses and professional pressures? Some fans will forgive this as a minor blip. Others, however, may view it as another example of a man who thrives on living dangerously, sometimes too dangerously. While there is no indication that substances or distractions were involved, the fact remains: a crash occurred, lives were affected, and accountability must follow. That's the law, and even McMahon must answer to it. The spectacle of the wreckage juxtaposed with his somber tribute to Hulk Hogan leaves behind an emotionally charged tableau. One of destruction, one of remembrance, one of consequence. Hulk Hogan's passing was always going to be a major news story. Vince's crash may not have been expected, but it now forever shares a timeline with the death of a legend. In a way, it underscores the fragility of legacy, how quickly things can change, how the mighty can stumble, even if just for a moment. Fans are left to wonder,